What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Angler's Prescription. Johnny's doing great. Just on a little family vacay, so he's not here today. Hope he's having fun. What's up, Shane?
What's up, guys? How are you all doing?
Good. So tonight we are joined by one of the damn Super 60 pros, Ryan Hall, and we're just gonna dive into a little backstory, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, see what he's working on, see what he's got cooking. So, I mean, we don't really have a set, I don't know, format tonight. We're just going to roll into some fish talking, maybe do some local fishing reports, and get your fill and get your fix. Shane, show's brought to you by who?
Yeah, anglers are.
Oh, you messed that one up.
Yeah, I did. First gen fishing. Yep, first gen fishing and Bioenno Power. So, first gen fishing, Anglers RX10 is our 10% discount code, and Bioenno Power, probably one of the best warranties out on the market for sure.
20 years.
And 20-year warranty, and you get 10% off of your purchase with using the code TEN, all caps.
Yep. And don't forget Headwaters Venture Company, guys. Brian's got the new shop right across the parking lot from the old one up in Reading. Been there for a couple of weeks now. We got the Rancho store. So all of your kayak accessories and needs, hit them up. Check the website. They'll even ship you a kayak. You can buy anything online on their website and they'll ship it to you. So
yeah,
sure
and if you're up north, they're having an event for I believe 4th of July. Just down there from the shop, there's kind of a little like cut off the American River, and I think they're launching out there for watch the fireworks out in the kayaks.
Nice.
So yeah, if anyone's interested, I'll get that posted up. So
yeah, welcome, Ryan. How you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on.
thanks for coming on.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
So, well, you were what? 2 events down the Super 60.
Yep.
You got a couple more left to go.
Yep.
So let's see. They got was it Columbia, right? Is that next?
Yeah, Columbia River in August,
August.
and then the Delta in October.
Oh, you guys had a good break then.
Yeah, we have a big break. I think they try to avoid any of the 6-hour rules. Is kind of what it seems like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You want to go out there now, especially driving all up to the Columbia River. You won't have a full day out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that only applies to like California lakes, but
Yeah.
but yeah, even if it was here, I'd like to get a full day. I
But
typically
yeah.
need more time.
Yeah. Have you been up there yet?
No, that's the funny thing about this year is so Don Pedro, Mojave, and Columbia River. I've never been there. I went to Don Pedro for one day prior to the event just to drive around and look at it, but it's been a huge learning curve for me. Just competing against like some of the best anglers in the West, in places I've never been with no experience. So it's been fun.
I bet. That's definitely a
Where
challenge.
where are you from, Ryan?
So I grew up in the Sacramento area. I'm currently living in Auburn now, Auburn, California.
Oh, okay. Oh, beautiful
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, I love it up here.
Yeah, beautiful.
And you never fish Pedro, huh? There's so much
No.
better stuff. Pedro's so far, dude. It's 2 hours.
Yeah, and then for me, growing up, I grew up in like Carmichael and Orangevale. So for me to drive to Don Pedro was about a 3.5 hour tow when I could be at Clear Lake Oaks in 2 hours, or I could be in the
Yeah.
at certain ramps in the Delta between an hour and 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
if I wanted to go catch spotted bass, I'd go to Oroville or Folsom or something that was significantly closer.
Yeah, that's been my dilemma with everything that's available to me right now. Is like, it's 2 hours away. I can go 2 hours to Shasta. Oroville. I can go 2 hours to Pedro, or like I said, it's 2 hours to Redbud or Clear Lake Oaks. Like, I'm gonna
Yep.
choose. If I'm driving 2 hours, I'm going to the Bass Factory.
Yeah,
Hands
exactly.
down. So how did you get into it? You grew up into. Well, let's just go back to your backstory. So how did you end up getting into fishing and and getting to the level that you're at now?
Yeah, so I actually grew up fishing, but never competitively. I played baseball my whole life into college and whatnot. But um, like as a kid, my first memory in life is falling off the back of my dad's bass boat on in the Delta. So I've always been around the water, always been around fish. But it was, baseball was my priority. It's still like one of my biggest loves in life. So I would find a way to go fishing or con my dad to take me fishing, anytime we had an off day, which wasn't often. But as I got older, I got a driver's license, and it turned into, going after practice and sneaking into some community pond, trying not to get kicked out. And even, into college, I'm not saying I missed a class or two, but I might have missed a class or two and went fishing or something like that. Um,
It's
but
biology. It's biology course right there, man.
exactly. And then, after baseball was over, I had this big competitive void or something, like a void of having purpose in my life, for at the time, what was I, 22 when I quit playing baseball. So call it 18 years of my life was consumed with, I always had something to look forward to after school or something like that. So, the work days and stuff got long and I had nothing to look forward to. So then I was like, started fishing more. And then I had a couple buddies, Kirby Wallace, Austin Wilson. I was hanging out with them a lot. We all grew up together in high school and they were fishing tournaments, future pro stuff, BBTs. And they ended up like, you should just fish tournaments. And I was like, I'm not good enough to do it. And finally they conned me into doing it. And I did really well in my first tournament. And I was like, all right, well, let's keep trying this then. Let's see what happens.
Oh, he'll probably jump back on. Hopefully, see what
You got
happens.
me?
There you go.
We got you.
Sorry.
You're good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. I'll bring him back on. There you are.
I put my phone on do not disturb and I still got a phone call.
They did the old double call. Like, I know what he's doing. Click, click.
No. Forgot where I left off. But yeah, anyway, so I had two of my really good buddies finally convince me to do it. Ended up doing really well in my first tournament, and it just kind of pushed me to just keep doing it, keep
Nice.
trying it. So that's kind of where we ended up. Sorry, one second, guys. I'm using my girlfriend's laptop as a phone holder. Apparently, she needs it for her schoolwork.
Priorities, right?
I know, yeah. All right, hopefully the interruptions are done now. But
You're
yeah, that's
good.
kind of how I got started. And then, I started fishing BBTs and the Future Pro stuff myself. And then I think it was 2020 last year. I, Wild West used to be a big thing for team tournaments, and with them going out of business, I was fishing team tournaments with, sorry, that's my dogs, with my partner, and we didn't know what to fish, and we both were like, he wanted to just go fish Clear Lake, have fun, not grind, and I was like, I want to keep growing in this industry and see how far I can take it. So I ended up jumping into the BAM Pro-Ams last year, which was probably the best fishing decision I have ever made, and then ended up qualifying for Super 60.
Oh, nice. So that was your first year doing pro-ams then.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm one day I'd like to fish one of those.
Yeah, they're great. Financially and time, it's a big dedication. You definitely have to be in the right place with family, work, things like that. But if it's feasible financially, definitely do it. Give it a try, even if it's as a co-angler. I know I had really good co-anglers with BAM, and they all said they learned a lot. And from the guys that I've talked to, a lot of them have even made the jump to the pro side because they've learned so much and they feel like, okay, I'm ready now. Let's do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. And BAM just runs a good all around circuit anyway. Like they run their. I'm sure it's just as well as their kayak stuff.
Yeah.
the kayak.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Go for it.
No, I say the kayak. The way they do it is awesome. I mean, you place, you leave the ramp with a check. They're Their media coverage is on point, you know, and they're brazen awesome tournament director as well, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know a lot of guys last year. It seemed like we're a little skittish to jump into it, especially after everything that happened with Wild West, and there was a lot of speculation to that. But
Well, it's
um,
understandable.
yeah, and it totally is. I've known Mark since before this whole BAM Wild West thing, and I just knew him as a person, someone I trust. So jumping in wasn't an issue, but I was blown away with how professional, how well run everything was, and like you said, the amount of media coverage, which a lot of guys know. I mean, if you're trying to work with sponsors and promote yourself and promote them, that media coverage is invaluable. I mean, it is.
Hmm.
It's. I have people reaching out because they saw a Facebook Live video or stuff like that, and it's like, man, I had no idea how much, how impactful BAM was. So really happy to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a they run a good ship. So
Mm.
um yeah, so first year, so now you're Super 60. Are you doing
Yep.
pro-ams this year too or no?
Not this year. I really wanted to. I really liked the pro-am schedule, but like financially and time away from work, it just wasn't feasible. Taking basically 6 days off of work a month is tough to do.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
That's where I look at it too. You know, with the pro-ams, it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, so you got to be
Hmm.
off, you know, Fridays, possibly Saturdays in my industry.
Hmm.
And then, you know, was a pre-fish starts on Tuesday, so you got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to go figure it out. So then you're like, well, you might as well just take Monday off just to prep everything and make sure you're good to go, or travel, or depending upon where it's at, you know.
Right.
So yeah, it's a huge commitment. You know, it's what, 4 weeks, the 4 events. They had 3 events this year.
Yeah, three
Yeah.
events this year. Last year it was a minimum of four to qualify for the championship, but they did have five for the pro-ams. And it was a lot. I mean, I would do it again in a heartbeat if I could. I'm
Yeah,
hoping I can get to a spot with work and sponsorship stuff where I can do that. Because I loved it. I love the pro-ams. But right now just the focus is all Super 60.
yeah. You doing? You say you did 1 day of driving around Pedro. So
Yep.
basically, prepping for that one was a whole lot of map study, and I'm sure
Yeah.
tournament result that win, you know, histories and what do the guys do back then, type of stuff.
Right. Yeah, I did a lot of map study. I luckily like I run Humminbird units on my boat, and Lake Master has phenomenal mapping, and you can actually get it on an app and then go through your app and then Bluetooth
Hmm.
your waypoints to your screens in your boat. So
Hmm.
I did a lot of that. And then I did a lot of like, historical studies. Did some Google Earth stuff, trying to see how tournaments were won, any media I could find on any tournaments for the past few years. Um, and then thought I had, I could figure it out and do it on weight on the first day. And then, turns out the areas where it was traditionally won that time of year with big largemouth were not firing. So had to scramble and try to salvage on keeper count, but just ran out of time. That's all it was. I figured it out with an hour and a half to go on day two or on day one. And it just,
Okay.
Hmm.
those guys are so good. You can't slip like that for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. Pedro, I see, went there in beginning of April, and it was just like, because it wasn't a huge numbers day. It wasn't a big fish day. It's just
Mm.
one of those things, man, where it's like one of those lakes. It just kind of had us, you know, puzzled a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different lake. It reminded me of if like Oroville, Shasta, and Folsom had a baby.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of
Yeah.
flat parts to it, but it's
Yeah,
also got a lot of steep canyon. And then the river arms play at times. But it's a super interesting fishery. If we go back, I'm assuming we will at some point. I'm excited to get back there because I learned a lot just from my 2 days there.
yeah. So are you running the new Mega 2?
Not yet.
Not
So
yet.
my plan is I want to get the new Mega Live 2 and 360 for my boat this year, this off season. Um, I didn't get a chance to play with the Mega Live 2 during like when it was being tested prior to release because it was very exclusive.
Mhm.
But I have seen some stuff, talked to quite a few guys that were running it back then, and it's pretty good. So it does a lot of things different than the other brands like Lowrance or the Garmin. So having that tool, I think, will be being able to do a few different things that some guys aren't, or most guys wouldn't be able to do.
Nice. I'm getting curious because I mean, Garmin, as of right now, hands down, I think has the best live technology.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I was watching something. They were trying to show a fry ball and a fry garter on the active target too. I'm like, dude, that just look like crap. You know, like Lowrance makes great products, but they're live. I was just like, dude, compared to what I've seen on my Garmin, same situation, it's a huge difference. And I mean,
yeah.
yeah, there's so much you could miss easily. I think with that one as opposed to so that's why I'm really curious to see how Humminbird stepped it up.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, I'm
have
excited to get it.
have you always been a Humminbird guy?
No, so I've run Lowrance's, none of the newer ones. I've
Hmm.
run some of the older ones, the older HDSs. Um, I've fished off buddies' boats who have Garmin. I've seen them all. Simrads, you know, every weird or Raymarine, all the weird ones, you know, that not a lot of bass guys use. Um, my biggest thing for the Humminbird was the mapping.
Sure.
The mapping and the imaging are big standouts to me. I don't, in my opinion, from what I've seen, I don't think that the side imaging and down imaging and mapping from Humminbird is really touched by any of the other companies. Um, so that's why I primarily run the Humminbirds. And as much as forward-facing sonar in today's day and age is a huge player, um, I think over the course of my career, you could call it, the mapping has made me more money than any other tool in my boat. Is just being able to know, like, see where I want to go, and then just be able to go to it because it's so detailed and so accurate.
Sure.
Yeah, that's where I'm at that point to where I got to put new graphs on the boat. And it's like I'm keeping the Garmin for my live scope, but it's like, do I go full in all Garmins or do I say Humminbird and Garmin? You know, but and
Yeah,
there's things that's cool to have everything the same because if you're sitting at the console, you can put all your waypoints in there. You know, you've got your slide imaging. You can mark it transfers to your map, which will
yeah,
transfer your map up front, and then just cool little features of the compass calibrated on your live scope. It actually shows where the beam's pointing. So if I don't have the GPS puck, so my boat will sit there and spin on the map. You're like, dude, where's this waypoint at again?
right.
So it's a good little cheat code right now to have that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are running mixed brands right now. You know, I mean, there's some guys, you know, that are running all one brand because networking your screens to all the other accessories on your boat is a big deal. I mean, like so I'm running the new Ultrex Quest, the Minn Kota Ultrex Quest. I have the Minn Kota Raptors, and I would run those anyways, even if they didn't network to any of my screens. But luckily
yeah,
they do, you know, and for me, I can control my Raptors from any of my screens. I can access all the features of the Ultrex Quest because it networks to the Humminbird. So
Yeah,
it's
that's pretty
definitely a
nice.
big tool. You know, that I mean, I will tell you, I have Garmin Live Scope. I have an LVS 34 on the front of my boat right now. Um, just because at the time when I had bought it, they were, like everyone said, that they were the best. So,
yeah,
but now with that Mega Live 2, it's kind of added a little, you know, a little hiccup in our industry, I think. So I think
yeah,
the more guys play with it, the more guys are going to see, or maybe even like maybe use it in tandem with Garmin or with their Lowrance because they all do things so differently. The way their sonar beams come out of the deucer, the technology that sonar's using, whether it's phased array or frequency shifting, then you start getting into cone angles and all this different stuff, and it's going to give you different readings on every single one, so that they all do different things better. But I think if you can combine the best of all these brands, it's a really good setup.
yeah. And I mean, just the networking. You know, unfortunately, the kayak side of things, you really don't. you really can't network other than two graphs together because
Right.
you've got either a motor guide up front or a NK
Torpedo.
or Torpedo in the back. And,
Yeah.
you can't network it, but it's nice too. You're out fun fishing. You want to sit down and eat lunch. You can click the waypoint, tell your trolling motor to take you there. You can go hang out and do whatever, or retie something while your trolling motor's taking you to your waypoint. It's just
Right.
networking's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing it does kind of lack on the kayak side.
Yeah,
Especially
I
like
think-
because motor guide, I think if I am correct, I think it will work with the new Lowrance graphs because obviously motor guide was bought out by Lowrance. So
Yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, that's just one of the things that just kind of lacks on our side is the networking side of it. It would be nice just to hit a waypoint and just go to it, but
Yeah. Well, I think that's coming down the pipe for you guys, though. I mean, I don't want to spill any beans too early, but I know it's on the radar of Johnson Outdoors, which is Humminbird Minn Kota, because they own a kayak company. I believe it's Old Town.
yeah, it's Old Town. And then they have
and
they have the Terra Nova, which is the kayak side. They have the new motor, but
Mhm.
they kind of that one was just I think they'll do a little bit more research and development and get that kind of tidied up a little bit more in the future here, hopefully. I think they kind of jumped on it pretty quick with it coming out, and so I think it kind of lacks some of the things that we're needing. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're the only ones out right now other than those power pole moves, and I'm sorry,
Right.
I'm not. I just don't.
$4,500.
I just don't get $5,000 for a trolling motor for a kayak, and just
It's almost
Yeah,
as much as the kayak. That's the
$5,000
whole of
for
your
a trolling
kayak.
motor on a boat still pricey too. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
new Garmin Forces are like 38. I think the Quests are right around the same price.
Yep.
The Ghost is right around that $3,800 price range. I mean, they're not cheap, but still, it's not $5,000 for a
Yeah.
trolling motor.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're kind of upside. You're upside down on it, right? But I don't know. I guess it is good, but
It's options, man. Like money's no
I know.
issue. They got options. Hey,
I know.
Yeah.
kudos to them for even doing it, though. You know what I mean? Like they could have not built a kayak motor that a bow mount is gonna get you speeds like an NK300 or the 1102 Torpedo. So they did it. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you can put that thing on there. Gotta win a few more tournaments.
Right. Got to cash some checks, and then maybe we'll think about it.
That's right. So, Columbia River, we won't really talk about that. You haven't been yet, so you're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Are you going to go spend any time in pre-practice before the 30 days, or are you just going to?
No, it's just so far. I wish I could, but from I want to say it's like a 14-hour drive from my house. So I'd have to leave on I'd have to take another day off work or leave at, as soon as I got off work and roll into town, 8 the next morning kind of deal.
Sleepless.
Sleepless. Yeah, try to figure it out and then leave at, Sunday morning to make it home so I can go to work on Monday kind of deal. So no, I'm gonna go in kind of blind. I've been doing a lot of map study for that. Humminbird has the Boardman area where we are really well covered. But I've heard there's a ton of fish up there. They'll smallmouth bite. Looking at last year's results from the Super 60, it should be a fun one, So
Yeah.
I'm just hoping they bite what I want them to bite.
I'm really looking forward to one day making a trek up there. Just try to plan it not around the crazy wind.
Right. Yeah. There's no predicting it though. Between the Columbia and River and the Arizona trips that we do, yeah, the wind is always a
the
factor.
wind. Well, even down here lately, man, it seems like the wind's always ripping right now. Like,
Yeah.
dude, can we get a break, please? Like I've been looking at forecasts for Clear Lake. It's like, dude, I'd love to go up there. No, it's blowing at 10 to 20. I've been out there in 10 to 20. I don't like
Yeah.
it. It's
Hmm.
not fun.
Nope. Yeah.
So,
No.
um, so where have you been fishing locally? What have you been working on? Where have you been playing?
Locally, I've been hitting, I'm trying to think. I've been to like the last like 3 or 4 weekends, I've been to a bunch of different bodies of water. But I've been to the Delta, I've been to Clear Lake once now, um, some small ones up here. But my primary focus has been getting better with forward-facing sonar. Just based on like the where we go for Super 60, my strengths don't necessarily play, which is, shallow power, grass. That's probably, shallow cover, especially. We don't, our schedule is not really set up for that. So, over, at Pedro and at Mojave was really eye-opening to how good my fellow anglers are, but also how good they are with their forward-facing sonar, their electronics, things like that. So I've been really trying to speed up my learning curve as much as possible. I think this whole golden muscle thing has kind of helped me out a little bit, forced me to get out of my comfort zone. But that's kind of been my focus, was just try to learn it as much as possible. Because on the first day of Mojave, I was able to catch them shallow. But those fish did not want to bite again on the second day, so I had to abandon that and basically was trying to learn, not learn, but get even more proficient with forward-facing sonar during the tournament. Almost just exclusively scoping, where I was just on the trolling motor, just looking, panning, trying to find something to throw at. Because if I could
Hmm.
see them, I could catch them. They would bite. If you could see them and you could put it on them, they'll bite it. But I just wasn't super comfortable with it. I wasn't as quick with it as I needed to be. Where I can run my trolling motor on 5 or 6 and still scope around. I watched a lot of guys, and I've seen video of a lot of guys where their trolling motors are on 8 or 9, and they're moving really fast, and just covering more water, seeing more fish, throwing out more fish. And I think that is, because I've missed paychecks in both tournaments by like 4 fish. No, Mojave was like 4 fish, Pedro was 2 fish. And if I could have been more efficient, I think I could have got those extra bites that would have put me in check range. Um, so just trying to get real good with that. That's kind of been my what I've been doing during this break, because I kind of look at fishing similar to baseball, like when you practice with a purpose, get better at the things you're not good at, but also stay in touch with the things you're good at. So,
For sure.
like I went to the After Bay a couple weeks ago, where the BAM has that kayak tournament, and I played around with what I like to do, and it was great. But after that, I was like, that was fun, but we gotta get back on the program of trying to be the most competitive that we can. So that's
Yeah,
that's all I've been doing.
it takes a lot of work to become even just proficient at it. Now, I'm not
Mm,
saying great, but proficient.
yeah.
And yeah, scoping fish on 8, man, that's got to be tough because it's like you see them, like there they are, and where the hell they go again? you
Yeah,
know.
right.
Now,
Yeah, there. Oh, what's
do
that?
you run your transducer on the trolling motor, or do you run a turret?
I run it on the trolling motor on the Quest.
Okay.
I've thought about the turret, especially with Mega Live 2 and the target lock capability. Um, but for just having one transducer, I like having it on the shaft of the trolling motor, just because I feel like it's less cumbersome. Granted, it's really hard to use, on spot lock. It's almost impossible.
Hmm.
But if you know how to handle your trolling motor, you know how to manipulate your boat, how to line yourself up, things like that, it's very doable.
Yeah.
So,
See, that's what drives me nuts coming from the kayak side because I just use my little pole to move it around to find fish. But when I go out on James's boat or a buddy's boat, and I'm out there on the front, I can't get that. I just can't get it down.
yeah, it take
I'm just used to being able to fine tune it and
yeah.
focus on what I want to
I
see.
think it's different in a kayak too, because I mean, you guys, for the most part, when the kayak anglers are fishing, it's really hard to travel these large distances on a kayak. You're kind of,
For sure.
you're picking a cove or a general area of the lake and then trying to dissect that lake to where you have time to find the fish, line it up with your hand, stay on it, and then make your cast. Where The bass boats world, it's a little faster, I think, where
Yeah.
we can be more nimble. If we don't like what we see, I can just lift my Quest out of the water, hop on the big motor, and then go however many miles I want to go.
Go.
You know,
Yeah, 15 miles away or
yeah,
something if you want to.
yep.
Yeah.
What
Yes,
what
for
boat are you
sure.
running?
So I actually just ended up getting a new boat this year. So for my entire life, I was running a 2003 Ranger 520 VX. But last year at the BAM Pro-Am Championship, I ended up blowing up a power head on that boat during practice.
Ooh,
So because my other boat, my Ranger, was so old, it just didn't make financial sense to invest the money into a new power head or to repower. I ended up really late this winter in like end of January, early February, I found a used Skeeter online. So right now I'm running a 2018 Skeeter FX20.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good boat.
Yeah, I love it so far. It's a lot different than not a lot different. There's little intricacies that are different than the Ranger, but I it's my first time ever owning a Yamaha, and I really like that Yamaha.
I was just gonna ask
So
that.
That's what I keep hearing.
yeah, I've talked to guys and they were all like, "Oh yeah, the Yamaha." Because I was also talking with Gone Fish and Marine about buying a brand new Nitro, and after just my financial situation, it just didn't make sense to invest that amount of money. Um, if I did, I probably 100% would have bought a brand new boat from Mark and the guys down there at Gone Fishing, but because I'm still, early on in my career, I figured, let's save as much money as we can, get into something that's good. And
Hmm.
from what everybody told me, the Yamahas were really reliable. Heaters are a good hole. And of the like 3 or 4 brands that I was looking at, the Skeeter was the most cost effective for my needs.
Yeah,
So
that's cool. Yeah, the 20 foot. You said
yeah, 20 foot.
perfect. Handle big
Yeah.
water just fine.
Yeah, I mean it's the same size as my Ranger. The only difference is instead of a 225 two-stroke on my Ranger, now I have a 254 stroke. So
See, that's I wish I was so I got a 250 two-stroke, and I'm like, man, how do these guys have so much room in their back compartments? And I'm like, dude, duh, they don't have this giant oil tank sitting in the back.
right,
That's
exactly.
another battery. That's your spare prop. That's your tool bag. That's all kinds of stuff you could throw back there. Get the weight moved around.
Right.
It just dawned on me the other day like an idiot. I was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially with these lithium batteries nowadays, you can like you guys are work with Bioenno, like I started running Bioennos like 5 years ago, and because they have, for in the bass boat world, you can run the different amp hour, the amperage of the 12 volts. You can run a 24 volt. You can run 36s, however you want to do it. It really allows you to customize your battery compartment to make your boat or more your vessel the most functional for you. That's
Yeah.
one of the
Most definitely.
aside from having clean power, more reliability and better returns on my screens, like switching to lithium has done a world of difference for me as far as how all of my equipment performs on that rig.
Well, that's like when I lost my lower unit. I've got 300 amp hour 12 volts in the back of the boat for the trolling
Mhm.
motor, and man, we were well over 6 miles away from the boat ramp and fished the whole
Mhm.
bank all the way back. Went past the ramp, fished a little bit more, and I came back. I mean, I wasn't running it on high the whole time, but I never had low voltage at all. The batteries
Yeah.
are crazy how long they went.
Yeah. No, I love my Bioennos. Like I said, I've been running them for quite a while now, and I've had instances that were similar to yours where I blew up my lower unit coming out of blast off. So I fished 8 hours on the trolling motor.
Hmm.
And never want the lowest. Now that I have a Quest, because my Ultrex Quest monitors my batteries for me,
Okay,
um, I've never
Hmm.
drawn it down below 70% remaining.
nice.
So, and that was with a
Wow.
36 volt 50 amp hour battery.
Oh
Next
wow,
weekend, I'm actually putting the Bioenno 12 volt 100s in this Skeeter, just because I wanted a little more back there.
you're doing three of
So.
them.
Yeah, I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually doing 4 technically because I have 3 for the trolling motor and then one for
Mhm.
that I'm isolated solely for electronics and
Yeah.
transducers.
And I know when we talked to Kevin, when did we talk to Kevin? Shane, that was a couple months ago.
That was back
Maybe,
February,
yeah, I know
March.
they were talking about the starting batteries.
Yes, I've been
Which
on Kevin for
Hmm.
that for a few years. So I'm hoping they come out with it, but I mean, you guys know Kevin just like I know Kevin. Kevin's not going, their BioEno's not going to put out something that they don't believe will hold up to their 20-year warranty.
oh, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
the 20.
Yeah.
yeah, and their 20-year warranty is a true 20-year warranty. I don't know if you've ever read other brands' warranty policies. It's prorated. So it's technically not a
Hmm.
5-year or a 10-year. It's if you know it's you'll to get this much and then maybe a credit or however. But with
Yeah,
BioEno, it's
Yeah.
you have 20 years. If it fails, you get a brand new one no matter what.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It
Best
is.
out
They
there
are,
for
and
sure.
I do need to get a couple shunts though. 'Cause that's the one thing that I wish I did have, so I could see what I actually had left after
Mm.
running that trolling motor. Like I said, 8 hours all day long, or knowing like, oh man, we're only at like we still got 80% left. Dude, let's bump it up. Let's go a little faster.
Yeah.
We
Well,
got to.
you can get them on Amazon, those battery
Yeah.
Bluetooth battery monitoring little kits. They just go right on your terminal and they'll
Um,
Bluetooth to your phone and it's pretty cheap. I want to say you can get them for like $100 or less.
the BioEnos, they made them. They started making them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they have
Yeah,
them this
they have
year.
them.
They just got them
Yep,
this year.
yep.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
why I think I do need to get that. I toyed with the idea of doing the 36 single, like a
Mhm.
big 36 volt, but redundancy is the way I look at it.
Yeah, I like having the extra power. I ran a 36 volt 50 amp hour for 4 years. This is my 4.5. So this is after I switched next weekend to the 12100s. I only ran a single 3650 and I would easily get 2 days out of it
Oh
on that
wow.
heavy Ranger. Um, but my biggest concern was I don't know how much current there really is at the Columbia River. I mean, I fish the Delta all the time, into the tide, into the wind all day, but I just don't know how big a beast that Columbia is. I know Ken Ma, I've been talking to him about his BioEnos. He was running 1280s for a while. So yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know if I can afford it, or if I can get my hands on them. I think just having that extra big number, is a little more peace of mind, really is what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And you think about it, you're still saving 30 pounds of battery, if not more, going from a lead acid or an AGM if that's what you had
Oh,
before.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, lead
crazy.
acid. I know. So my 3650 was 42 pounds. I want to say your average Group 29 lead acid battery is somewhere around 80 to 90 pounds. So, that's what'd you save about buck 50 in weight just with those
Yeah.
three batteries roughly. I'm not a good at math.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible at math, but it sounds right.
Yeah. 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 It was definitely a lot of weight when you pull those things out. But what? So back to your forward facing. You've been playing. So are you playing with baits too, or are you playing with just
Everything.
with everything?
Yeah, I have probably don't my girlfriend listening. I've probably spent like at least $400 or $500 at Fisherman's Warehouse on all of these new minnow style baits, trying to learn them. The different, the jig heads. I got lucky. I got my hands on the new Gamakatsu ones, and I love them. So I
The
haven't really messed around with.
Horizon heads, right?
Yeah, the Horizon heads, and they have
Yeah.
different like sizes and different models within the Horizon line. So like I played around with those a lot, but I mean the minnow, it's a totally intricate thing, and each minnow is very different. The
Hmm.
Sakamata shad's very different than what are the is it the Mooch minnow? The a lot of people
Yeah.
like that
Hmm.
Crush City one, and so
Yep.
they're all super different with different intricacies. So I've been spending a lot of time trying to learn each one because I think the different actions are going to have a different place depending on the environment you're in or the mood of the fish.
Of course, my go-to is the
Yep.
Sakamata shad, and you can't find the stupid things. You pay $1 million for them.
Yep.
You catch one fish on a tournament, you rip it apart, or about pre-fishing, you're lucky you get like maybe two or three. It's like, oh god,
Yeah.
dang.
But they are good. I've had them for before this whole minnow thing. I ended up getting my hands on a lot of them, and They are even like the big sizes, the small sizes, they are tremendous if you know exactly like the situation that they all apply in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've five and four. I've yet to catch one of the big ones yet. That's what I need to figure out is the big ones.
Yeah.
That's my goal in life is to catch one on the 8.
Hmm.
So, and the 6s, man, you can't even find. Like they're so hard to find.
Yeah, the sixes are right at the top end of the range. A lot of guys, not even in California, but back east are scoping with. They're starting to dabble in the bigger minnows. Where here in
Mhm.
California, because of our forage, a lot of guys are using the smaller three sizes. I think it's like the 4 inch, the 5 inch. I think there's one even smaller than
Yeah,
that,
a
but
a 2 inch.
two something. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
2 inch
Two.
now. A lot of the West Coast guys, because of our forage is typically a little smaller in our reservoirs, that's what they typically lean to. But I know back east, because they have those big gizzards and whatnot, guys are starting to dabble in the bigger minnow.
yeah. So, yeah, dude. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you along at?
Oh gosh, so like for like website stuff, I do a lot of work with RB Bass or RB Bass Outdoors. So we have three different social media or Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for social media for them, which is all like at RB Bass. And but also their website, which is rbbass.com. So that'll be like where you could get fishing reports from myself, tackle tips from myself, and all these different anglers, not just in California, but we have guys throughout the United States. So that's a cool one because all the information there's free. But then as far as my personal social media, everything is at Ryan Hall Fishing. So that's like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X, TikTok, all the hip new stuff that the kids are using. I try to stay as young as possible, but I'm
Yeah.
getting old.
We all
Yeah,
are.
Yeah.
we're not quite as old as Shane yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
don't let the gray fool you. You're
I
getting
know,
it
I
here
know.
soon. And you're
It
actually,
is
you
there,
already got
man.
it.
I got that nice little stripe down the front of my beard. Can't
Yeah.
hide it.
Mm-hmm. Call you the
That's
skunk
right.
master.
Sometimes it happens, dude.
You guys are just distinguished. That's all it is. Experienced.
Well experienced. No, I have children. That's what
Oh,
children do to you.
that'll do it.
Hey, I
Yeah,
tell
I
them
don't
all
have
the
any of
time.
those yet.
I said, man, I
for
had no
sure.
gray and I had all kinds of hair on top of my head. Then I had you guys, and it all went downhill from there.
Just fell out. Yeah.
Like, no, it didn't.
Yep.
Yes, it did. It's all your fault.
Yeah.
So, heck yeah, man. Well, dude, guys, go give Ryan a follow. Thanks for hopping on the show. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah. Thank
Ryan.
you guys for having me.
follow along on his journey up to the Columbia and the rest of the season. So, yeah, but you want to thank anybody's sponsors to help you out?
Oh
Do a lot
God,
of
yeah.
fun stuff.
I have a tremendous sponsorship group, PK Tire Pros, which is down in Stockton, California. They actually just did last year my lift and tires and all that. Loyalty Pawn, which is a pawn shop chain, you could call it, family-owned chain throughout the greater Sacramento area. Bioenno Batteries, Fisherman's Warehouse, Costa Del Mar, RB Bass, Optimum Athletes. So if you guys play baseball or your kids play baseball, they're probably one of the top baseball training facilities in the Western United States, if not the United States. So got quite a few. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple, but yeah, they're tremendous, and I couldn't do this without all of them.
Heck yeah, man. Well, dude, I wish you luck on your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll be pulling for you on the Columbia, and I'm excited to see what you guys do up there for sure. Hey, maybe we'll run on you up to Clear Lake one weekend or something. And guys, keep a line wet. Get your fishing on. Bam this weekend. Thermalito After Bay. Funky launch times because of the 8:30 inspection. Sean wants to talk Delta. Sean, I don't know if we want to talk Delta. It is a public forum.
I got nothing but time.
So that puts me up. So it puts me in a pickle, right? Because we got a no info rule that started yesterday, but it is a public forum. But I am fishing it, so it's kind of one of those gray areas where I don't like to do that. No, Sean, we'll talk Delta after the fact. I don't want to be in that gray area and think of, oh, you guys got information from Ryan. No, we ain't doing that. So even though you all can have the same info, we ain't doing it just because, yeah.
Well, let's have James log off, and then me and Shane will stay on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll go
since I'm
podcast
not out
after
there.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, crack open a couple beverages.
There
Yep.
you go. I think if my problem is if I log off, the room will shut down.
Oh man, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, right. So yeah, dude, no, just on the slippery slope on that one. That's kind of one of I got a hard time with when we got tournaments coming up that have rules like that. It's like wouldn't you know what I mean? But yeah, 9:30 launch for BAM because they have an 8:30 a.m. is when the inspections open for your kayak if it's trailered or motorized. That's 20 minutes away from the ramp. So plan your travels according to that. Hell, I could talk about the afterbay all I want. Gosh, shallow power fishermen. So there, put that on under your cap. So there's probably some shallow fish to be caught up there.
Yeah, I would tell you guys if you're fishing deeper than 5 foot, you're not fishing to win.
No,
That's
there you go.
That's my little piece of information.
Well, there you go,
If
guys.
And if you got a spinning rod in your hand, just put it back on the trailer.
Yep.
So just take that to the Delta with you. If you're fishing over 5 foot and you got a spinning rod in your hand, go back to the trailer.
Yep, exactly.
So, all right, dude, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
Next week we'll be here. Don't know with what, but we'll be here. So thanks for watching. Y'all have a good week. Good luck to y'all out there this weekend. And
Be safe.
Be safe for sure. Watch out for the crazies. Don't forget to get your inspections done. And we'll see y'all on the Delta at the end of the month. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to dust the old kayak off and put her in the water, which will actually happen this weekend. So it's been along since September.
Yeah, so in other words, guys, he's reaching out to you all. So if he's struggling, make sure you help him because he's probably pretty much forgot how to fish out of a kayak.
If I fall over, it's because I don't have a big enough deck. So, all right, y'all. Thanks for watching.